Hey guys, welcome in. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here tonight to do Game Day Pick'ems Week 5. All right, guys, welcome back. It is Brad with College SportsCast. I've got both Johns on here with me from the beginning tonight. What's up, John Roberts?
What's happening?
And what is up, John Hammonds? Hammonds is sharing all kinds of stuff, it looks like. All right, guys, we are here to do week 5 of our Game Day Pick'ems, but we're going to get started here tonight talking a little bit about our Facebook. Our Facebook is growing. I cannot hear you. If you're talking, I can't hear you, John. I can't hear you. I am going to get started with the Facebook. So if you are following us on Facebook tonight, you can help support us by sending stars, and stars help us to earn money, or you can now subscribe to our page. Subscribing to our page is just 99 cents a month. We encourage you to do that as well. It does give you your own subscribers page, and I do make posts and stuff on just that page. So, again, it's only 99 cents a month. All right. Apparently, Hammonds is having some mic issue problems. And he was on, but he walked away before he was on. So I'm not real sure. He's going to try to come back in. Okay, Hammonds. Can you hear us?
John.
I'm waiting. I can't hear you, man. It's got to be on your end.
And there he goes.
Well, I took him out. I was trying to look at something real quick.
I say just go ahead, just start reading. Just do the read.
All right. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Hammonds.
Just go with the read. Go with the read.
But
you got it.
If you will look at the bottom of the screen, we are College SportsCast. This is our Game Day film. This is week 5 of our season 3. We are part of Greenville Sports Media and featured on the Real Fresh channel and on WSBN TV channel 30. Our sponsors are scrolling across the screen. There is Home Field Apparel. It's a premium licensed collegiate apparel company. I heard you, but just barely.
That's what I can hear you perfect.
Our code is CSCast. And then True Victory, our code for a 15% discount is the Fanboys on True Victory. That is a veterans sports gear. Check them out as well. All right, try to talk, man. That's all I know. I mean, you're muted right now. Your mic's muted.
Can you hear me?
There it is.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you all perfect through that. I don't know what the deal is.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I could not hear you, man. So, all right, we are going to get started here. The first game of the day is Kentucky, and Kentucky plays at Ole Miss tomorrow in Oxford, and Ole Miss is a 15.5-point favorite at home. Hammonds, I'll start with you. What do you think here with the Cats down in Oxford?
Well, it's not exactly good news when you got your starting cornerback out on Maxwell Harrison, and now you've got Chip out. So it's going to me, it's just going to be a tough task. So I mean, Kentucky's offense was manhandled in the first two games, conference games. And traveling, I don't think is going to help much with their offense. So I don't think Kentucky's probably going to score more than 15 points in this game. I'm just being real. Asking Kentucky's defense to hold Ole Miss to under 30 points on the road is asking for a lot with Jackson Dart. And I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think Ole Miss covers this game. As much as I want to see Kentucky cover the spread, I just don't see it happening. This offense is just too good. And if Kentucky gets in little issues where they can't move the ball and they're struggling to get any offensive rhythm, this could be just a flat-out blowout. Let's be honest, because Ole Miss ain't going to not score all day. Like, you cannot leave your defense on the field all night. So give me Ole Miss in the what is it, 15? Is it 15.5?
15.5.
Yeah. Give me
All
Ole
right,
Miss.
John
Give me Ole
Roberts.
Miss.
So
15.
he is right. I just saw that Harrison is a late scratch tonight. They're saying he's out now. He's been downgraded this week. He wasn't even on the availability report to start with. And then yesterday he was listed as probable. And then today he is listed as out. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Harrison. And today, Maxwell Harrison. So, John Roberts, what say you?
Yeah, I'm going Ole Miss to cover. I mean, Jackson Dart over the first 4 games has 1,000 yards more passing than Brock Vandergriff at this point. I really think that Ole Miss's offense is too good, all around, receivers, running backs, anything like that. It's just better of an offense. They have covered in every game. They're just better all around. And I get that Kentucky's got a defense. They held Georgia to, what was it, 13? And
It was.
but I also don't think Georgia's offense is great, and I'll get into that when we get to that game.
On
But
par. Yeah.
yeah, I think that Kentucky did a great job with a team that was not as good offensively as what this team is, and I just don't think they're going to do it. And especially since the game is on the road, I just don't think it's going to happen. So Ole Miss and the 15.5.
Well, and the thing too, though, John, is I've said it. This is a noon game. This is a noon game. Yeah. And the fact that, Kentucky, the only hope that they really got is Oklahoma. Ole Miss comes out slow in this game.
Yeah.
And it's the early start, and it's a slow start. That's the only chance I think Kentucky has that, and they maybe get some momentum on offense.
Right.
All right. So here's my thoughts. I think Kentucky's defense is the moneymaker on this Kentucky team, but Ole Miss's offense is very, very good. I mean, Jackson Dart leads passing in 5 different categories in the nation right now, in passing categories. So, but I will say this, Ole Miss really hasn't, they've covered and all the stuff that you talked about, but they really haven't played anybody of any merit so far. Now, I'm not sure that Kentucky is going to have a showing of any merit either tomorrow. We'll just see what happens with this game. But I do think that Kentucky is a better opponent than what they have faced. Having said that, I think Kentucky's defense definitely is. It's a worry with the offense. I mean, in the 2 SEC games, they put up 6 and 12 points. They didn't even get in the end zone in the 2 SEC games that they have played. Thank God for a great kicker, or, they wouldn't have any points more than likely, because when you kick 55 and 51 yarders and things of that nature, a lot of teams can't do that or miss. You're not going to stay in this game scoring 12 or 15 points and kicking field goals. Ole Miss will score in this game. They have a very, very good offense. And running backs, receivers, the quarterback, this is his 3rd year in the system. And I think that is a lot of fans nowadays, they want instant gratification. And when we go through these games and you look at games and you look at the way fans react and the way they talk about players nowadays, Jackson Dart is in his 3rd year, and you don't see that very often. He's in his 3rd year as the starter at Ole Miss. And I think that's what's going to eventually carry them. I do think Ole Miss covers here. I think Kentucky can hang with them maybe first half, be down 7 or 10 points at halftime, but you do that same thing in the second half, and it's a 21, point win, somewhere in that range, 24, somewhere in that range probably, and I think Ole Miss covers this. All right, we're going to move on to the Big 12. This is a big matchup in the Big 12. Both of these teams are coming off of losses last week, and they were both home losses. No, I take that back. Kansas State was in Provo. Oklahoma State lost at home. But in the Big 12, the loser of this game is at a major disadvantage because Utah is not lost yet. And both of these teams already have a loss. So we got Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Kansas State is a 5-point favorite, Hammonds. What do you think here in this game?
I like Oklahoma State. I picked them and Oklahoma State, Kansas State to be my 2 teams out of the Big 12 to make the Big 12 championship game. But they can't have another game like they did last week against Utah. What I think kind of boils down to this game is, can Oklahoma State force Avery Johnson to throw the ball? Last week they didn't look really great against BYU.
Hey, Rhett. Hey, Jerry.
And you suffer a second straight loss like this, you're pretty much out of the Big 12 title race on Kansas State's side. Same goes for Oklahoma State. So give me Oklahoma State. I think these teams are evenly matched, and I think Oklahoma State covers this game. But like you said, the loser kind of falls out of that Big 12 playoff race because,
major disadvantage.
It's going to be tough to fight back with what's going on in the Big 12 now that BYU and there's some other teams in there that's undefeated.
It's going to be a major disadvantage for the team that loses this. That's for sure. All right. John Roberts, Cowboys and Wildcats.
Both of them have not looked great.
Big 12 style.
Yep, there you go. You've had, K-State just got the doors beat off of them up in BYU. But
yes,
BYU.
Yes, they did.
BYU seems to do that apparently to everybody, especially in Provo. So, but this one is in Manhattan, Kansas. I think Oklahoma State is going to actually win this game. So I'm going Oklahoma State on this one. Don't know why. Couldn't really tell you a whole lot other than I just got a gut feeling Oklahoma State just wins the game outright.
Okay. I mean, I mean, in my preseason, I had Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game. I think they're loaded. I don't understand what's going on with Ollie Gordon exactly. It's not that he's not having a decent year, but he should be one of the top running backs in the country coming back. And he's not quite been what I thought he would be. Is this the game that they finally hand him the ball a bunch of times on the road here against Kansas State, especially after a home loss to Utah? I think they really need to find their identity. I know that Alan Bowman is a good quarterback, and he can throw the ball and win you some games. But I don't think K-State's going to run wild here as far as throwing the ball. Avery Johnson is going to run a whole lot himself, and I don't think they're going to put up a ton of points. So I think this is a game that you can get right with Ollie Gordon. And for that reason alone, I think I am going to go with you guys and take Oklahoma State, take the 5 points here. They will at least cover this, I believe, and it will be a tight game.
Oh, you
All right,
picked
we're
it.
going to
You
talk
picked
about
it.
a team.
You
picked
teams. It. You finally gave me Indiana to talk about. Like I wanted to do this.
Are we 9-win
We're
Indiana?
going to talk about a couple of teams here that we
9-win Indiana?
that we have not talked about yet this season on College SportsCast. Indiana is sitting at 4-0. Been pretty impressive. Got a great offense, new coach, new system, everything. Maryland has kind of struggled a little bit so far. Maryland is at Indiana in Bloomington. They are a 7-point favorite, the Hoosiers are. John, you asked me for this game, so here you go.
I'm going to go Indiana in this game. I think the difference in this game is Rourke and his ability to feast on this Maryland defense. Last week, Maryland struggled against Michigan State. They let them go down the field twice towards the end of the game to win the game. And what Cignetti has done coming from James Madison and what he's built into this program right out of the gate the first year is pretty impressive to me. And I think Indiana wins this game. I think they cover the 7 points. I just think they're going to make Maryland one-dimensional in this game. And if they make them one-dimensional, I think that Indiana is just going to take advantage of that, and they're going to win this game pretty relatively
awesome,
easy.
Rhett.
So give me the Hoosiers.
All right. Clyde and Robert, hey, guys, glad you're here. All right, so John Hammonds asked me for this game. He wanted me to add Indiana. We haven't talked about them yet this year. They are 4-0, John Roberts. So, this is a chance for them to be setting 5-0 in the Big Ten, overall in the Big Ten. So, I mean, this would be pretty remarkable for a first-year head coach to come in and turn this program around this fast.
Yeah, give me 5 Indiana right now.
What do you think on the Hoosiers in the turf?
Yeah, give me 5 Indiana right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give me Indiana. Indiana to win, Indiana to cover.
Yeah, I mean, they've been impressive in offense. Yeah. They've been impressive in offense for sure. They have like a top 5 offense in the country, somewhere around there. This the James Madison coach from last year is now in Indiana, and he brought a bunch of the James Madison people with him. They all transferred over, not all, but a bunch of them did, offense and defense. And I was a little skeptical. I'm going to say I was skeptical early, preseason. I just wasn't sure that the James Madison kids were going to be Big Ten ready. So far, 4 games in, it's looking like I was wrong. This is another game that the way they've been playing that they could get and go to that 5-0. And then we'll see what happens, the remaining of the year. I know their schedule will get tougher, more tough, but I mean, I think the Hoosiers are going to cover this at home, the way they've been scoring points. And I'm going to take Indiana and give the 7 points.
There you go.
And then we're going to go from one school to another Kentucky lovely school here. We're going to go to Louisville. Actually, we're going to go to South Bend, Indiana. Louisville takes on Notre Dame in South Bend. Notre Dame is a 6.5-point favorite at home. Louisville beat them last year, John Hammonds. What do you think? Are you giving them a shot here in South Bend?
The way Notre Dame has played as of late, they lost to Northern Illinois. They struggled with Miami of Ohio. They couldn't get anything really going up until the end of the game. I really think the Cardinals, and I know people are going to be upset with this pick, I think the Cardinals are a sleeper for the college football playoff. I really do. I think they're that good. They got some good play in the trenches.
If they can get this game,
they got some good quarterback play. I do believe Louisville has the necessary depth on offense and defense to make this a game that's difficult for Notre Dame. But can they go into South Bend and do what I think they can do? That's another question. I think I'm going to take Notre Dame, but I'm going to take Louisville to cover this. I'm not saying I'm picking Louisville to win. I'm just picking them to cover. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Louisville won this game. But I'll say this much: if Notre Dame loses this game, you can kiss the college football playoff goodbye. Their season is on it's going down the drain with the loss here, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, they've already lost to Northern Illinois, which was a huge surprise. So another loss here, and yes, I mean their season is at least on life support.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's completely over, but
it's tinkering on there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, John Roberts. What say you here?
So I don't know. I'm losing Northern Illinois really hurt Notre Dame, and it just I can't get that image out of my brain. So I'm really tempted, and I think I'm going to go with it. But Louisville on this one, just
that wasn't even the worst part.
Yeah, I know.
The worst part was the fact that Notre Dame only scored 13 points against Northern Illinois, and Louisville's defense is probably better than Northern Illinois in that regard.
Yeah.
So can they score enough points to beat Louisville is the question.
Yeah, I don't think so. I just don't think they can.
Well, all right. So I've heard both of y'all's arguments. Here's my thing. Before this season started, I didn't have them in there, but just on the outside, I thought as a sleeper pick, I had Notre Dame as a sleeper pick to maybe get into the college football playoff.
Brad, I was on the same boat.
I'm going to tell you right now, losing to Northern Illinois puts a huge damper in that. I mean, huge already. And under no circumstance can you, one, lose to Louisville 2 years in a row if you're Notre Dame, and Marcus Freeman, by the way. And two, there is under no circumstance that you can lose this game at home as well and have a Chinaman's chance in hell at making the college football playoff. I just don't see it.
Correct.
And as much as I think that Louisville is going to have a chance in this game, and I do, the way they've played compared to the way Notre Dame has played, and Notre Dame cannot seem to find any offense, no matter what quarterback comes in. The quarterback sucks. I don't care who what name they are, who they are. And I can't figure it out. It kind of reminds me of Kentucky. Going Notre Dame, it's just a touchdown. 6.5. You got to win by a touchdown. That's it. You're at home. You're in South Bend, and you're Notre Dame. Hello. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, boy.
All right, John Roberts.
Of course, it would be this one.
This one's for you. This one's for you, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm struggling in this game. So Oklahoma is at Auburn. It's basically a pick'em game. Auburn's favored by 1 on DraftKings. It's basically a pick'em game here. I'm struggling in this game. Oklahoma is down offensive linemen. They're down wide receivers. They're switching to a freshman quarterback. Auburn looks like Hugh Freeze looks defeated as shit. They can't keep the ball without turning the damn thing over, no matter who they play, what quarterback's playing. And I'm not sure who to pick in this game. So, John Roberts, I'm asking you first on this.
You want me to go first and let Roberts finish?
What are your thoughts on this game?
So here's the deal. So in the 2 P4 games that Auburn has played, they have thrown 8 picks and they have fumbled the ball away twice. They have given the ball away to the other team 10 times. 10 times in 2 Power 4 games. And they lost by a combined 2 touchdowns. It's really stupid, or 17 points or something like that. It's really stupid how insane that really is to think about in two games against Power 4, albeit Power 4 teams that Auburn should have beaten handedly. They gave the ball away 5 times in each game and only lost by a combined 17 points. So you just have to think that if they were to hold on to the ball a couple of times, just a few of them, I don't know, Damari Alston, who is right at the cusp of scoring a touchdown to tie the game up, fumbles the ball inexplicably into the end zone, and it's recovered by Arkansas. That was a very disheartening turnover. At least two of the turnovers have been quarterback passes that have bounced off of receivers. It may be 3 that have bounced off receivers, if not receivers' hands, and into the hands of a cornerback, so that you would think that if they just caught the ball.
But that's all part of it. I mean, that's why
I know.
Confused.
It's not
I
just
don't know
so
what team are we going to see.
It's not all
on
quarterback
Saturday.
that's messing up here. I mean, we can't figure out the left side of the offensive line. We don't have a tight end that's worth a dang in terms of run blocking, or just really blocking in general. I mean, we got guys that are more like receivers that are playing tight end, because the one guy that was a tight end, that was more of an everything tight end, broke his foot 2 games ago. So, yeah. So
Yeah, but Oklahoma's down a bunch of guys. They're starting a freshman quarterback.
they're
I
starting
mean,
a freshman quarterback,
a
and they're
true
down
freshman
5
quarterback.
and they're down 5 receivers. So, I have this
Yeah.
feeling that
Yeah, exactly.
they're down a running back and an offensive lineman. So
And an
uh
offensive line.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I have a feeling that they're gonna run the ball a lot, just with the quarterback. It's gonna be a lot of RPO. He's gonna run. Auburn's biggest problem on defense is the 3rd and long situations in which they cannot, for whatever reason, contain the quarterback, and or they just allow receivers to run freely behind them, and they lose contain with or lose coverage with their receiver, and all of a sudden it's now 3rd and 19, becomes a 58-yard touchdown. So just all sorts of things that are
Right.
going wrong over there. But Oklahoma doesn't seem
All right.
like
So
they've got
before
like
you get
anything as
done
far
here,
as
let me ask you about
yeah.
Jordan Hare. Let me
Okay.
ask you, like, both of
So
these losses were at Jordan Hare.
they were.
If Oklahoma comes in there and they get a 3rd loss in a row at Jordan Hare,
So here's the deal.
how many years has it been since Auburn lost 3 games?
Not sure, but here's the
3 in a
deal.
row.
Okay. So if you
I mean,
the crowd, I mean, they still keep bringing a crowd. I mean, they're still going to have another sellout crowd. They're going to show up, and that crowd will go nuts, and it will be the home field advantage that we keep describing it. As long as Auburn is, in the game, but if they start turning the ball over again, that crowd is going to turn on Hugh Freeze and the players very quickly. And that's what's happened. It's not that
real quick. Yeah.
not that the other team is going out and taking the game from Auburn. It's that Auburn is absolutely serving it up on a silver platter and handing it to the other team. I mean, I could tell you, I can honestly believe that if Auburn doesn't turn the ball over, self-inflicting wounds, turning the ball over 10 times in those 2 games. 4th and long, and you have a hit out of bounds, a late hit out of bounds. Like, these are all self-inflicting wounds. So you clean up this,
Yeah.
and you're sitting pretty at 4-0.
That's a reflection on the coach, too.
It is. It is. It's a reflection on everybody. But here's the deal. The crowd is there and they want to explode. Okay? So it's not that the other team can just go in there, waltz right in there and win it.
Oklahoma coming to town is a big deal.
Yes, it is. It is. And here's the deal. They haven't played a true road game. They haven't played a true road game in front of 80+ thousand in a very long time. A true road game in front of 80+ thousand, because the Big 12 stadiums are tiny, and the only ones that are big enough are Texas,
both of us
which
are
that's a 51.
So
there you go.
Yeah. So what are you picking in this game? Are you taking your home Auburn Tigers, or I mean, I can't imagine that you wouldn't really, but
I mean,
this is a game with Oklahoma having, their losses.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Auburn, but I'm not gonna like it. I mean, I am gonna like it if they win, but I mean, I'm just I don't feel comfortable with it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's a tough game. Hammonds.
Yeah.
I think this is a tough game to pick. Tough.
It is.
Who do you like in this game?
To me, I've seen nothing from Auburn's passing attack that makes me think that they're going to move the ball against Oklahoma. And that's just being fire down the middle. Oklahoma's got a really good defense. They kept Tennessee in check for most of the game. They stopped them quite a bit of times. Tennessee could have blowed that game out of the water. If that kind of defense comes to Auburn, and Auburn can't move the football, and Oklahoma can make some plays with Hawkins at quarterback, Hugh Freeze is – I'm just telling you, fans are not going to be happy. There's going to be a lot of mumbling and grumbling on the plains.
As they should.
As they should be. So
yes.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's kind of where I am, John. Out of all of this that we have sat and talked about for the last 5-6 minutes, the one unit on both of these teams that I think is really good is Oklahoma's defense. I mean, this Tennessee team and their offense is a high-powered offense, and to keep them to 25 points is an accomplishment in its own.
Well, I mean, Nico hit Thornton. He had that one big pass play, but they never really had a big moment in that. Like, it was more of –
I know. That's what I'm saying. And Oklahoma's defense, I think, is the one unit. Auburn has a decent defense, but I don't think decent is going to be good enough. I mean, that's, if I had to pick one unit on the field that I think is superior, it's Oklahoma's defense. And for that reason alone, I'm taking Oklahoma to go into Jordan Hare and give Auburn 3 straight losses. And if that happens, Hugh Freeze could be in trouble, guys. I mean, when this season started, I didn't foresee saying that.
I'll say this on the back end of this real quick. The other thing that really worries me in this game is Oklahoma's up front on the offensive line. That's the other part of this equation. Can they block enough to score points and get down the field? That if that happens,
that's why
you're probably
about them missing some.
That's what I'm saying. You're probably looking at a 17-13 type game in this game. Well, let's just be honest. It's probably going to be nip and tuck like Arkansas Auburn was last week. And can Auburn make plays to win? That's the question.
All right. I've struggled in that one for sure, and I'm not even kidding. So the next one, I told y'all last week I wasn't going to take USC again, but I may go back on my word after putting this game on here. But anyways, I got Wisconsin at USC. USC at home is a 14.5-point favorite. I guess this is their second Big Ten game, Hammonds. Does USC finally do what they're supposed to do here against a not great Wisconsin Badger team?
I think USC wins this game. Tyler Van Dyke went down. And now they're having to go to Braden Locke. And to put him on the road at USC in a tough place to play, and the fact that Wisconsin's not even playing that great. Their defense hasn't looked that great. Alabama went up and down the field on them all night. I think this is one of those, like you always say, one of those get-right games for USC. I think they take care of business, and I think they cover this spread.
This 14. Against this Badger team.
Wisconsin's not great. I don't know what happened from Luke Fickell from Cincinnati to Wisconsin, but he's not the same coach anymore to me.
He's another guy in his second year that could be in trouble.
Yeah. So give me the Trojans by 14.5.
All right, John Roberts.
Yeah, I definitely like USC in this one. I don't think Wisconsin's got enough to do anything in this game, and I think that USC at home get right. I think the offense shows up something that they weren't able to do at Michigan, but this time I think at home against Wisconsin, I think they will be ready to play, and I think that they will be able to beat Wisconsin by more than 2 touchdowns.
I mean, for me, guys, I said it last week. I was going to give USC one shot as a front runner to go into the big house and beat Michigan as a 4.5 point favorite in that game, by the way, which was ridiculous if you ask me. And I said it last week right here. But this Wisconsin Badger team is not good. And losing their quarterback, it's like on top of that, they weren't good to begin with.
To me, it's like losing your ace in the first round of the playoffs in the Major League Baseball, and you're having to go to a guy that
they wasn't even good to begin with, and they already lost the guy that they went out to get to run their offense this year, and he's gone, and now you're traveling out to Los Angeles to face USC off of a loss. As much as I said last week, I wasn't taking USC again. I'm eating those words right here on College SportsCast right here because there ain't no way I'm taking Wisconsin in this game to cover 14.5.
You know what?
There's no way.
I got this in the back of my mind. If USC loses this game, Brad's going to be hiding from this panel.
Oh, if USC loses this game, I'm going to have a USC rant. I'm going to have a Lincoln Riley rant. Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to tell you right now. All right. We're going to move on. We're going back to the SEC. We got Arkansas at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a 5.5 point favorite to Kyle Field here. This is what's been a rivalry game, the last out of the West with these two teams. Should be a pretty good game here, I think. Hammonds, do you think the Aggies, who struggled last week with Bowling Green, and of course Arkansas beat Auburn, do you think the Aggies can hold form here at home?
Listen, this is probably to me the most underrated game of the week. You got Bobby Petrino, former OC at Texas A&M. They're going against his current team, OC, Arkansas Razorbacks. You got the rivalry part about it. My question is, or my thoughts are, this is a dangerous game for A&M. They've not looked inspiring all season long, I don't think. To me, they haven't. They didn't play well against Bowling Green last week. And Bob Petrino called plays for A&M, so he knows like the personnel and whatnot. I think the Razorbacks can also come at the A&M's pass rush with Taylon Green. I don't like Arkansas enough this week to pick them, but I will say this. If A&M goes into their doldrums where they can't move the football and they struggle against – Arkansas's secondary is not that great, but they should move the ball some, Texas A&M. But if they do what they did last week against Bowling Green, Arkansas wins this game. But give me Arkansas to cover the 5.5. I just don't have enough – in Arkansas to pick the straight upset, and I don't have enough faith in A&M to cover the 5.5 because A&M to me has just not looked great at all. They struggle against Notre Dame, which is not a great team. They struggle with Bowling Green, which is a much improved Bowling Green team because they went into Penn State and almost beat Penn State. So let's give some credit to Bowling Green here. They've competed in both of those games. So. Give me
That's true.
Give me A&M,
That's
but
true.
I don't trust them to cover this spread or Arkansas to pick the straight upset. This is going to be a fun game.
So you're taking the points in Arkansas.
I'm taking the points. Yeah.
You're going to take the 5.5 points.
Yeah, I'll take the 5.5 points.
Okay. All right, John Roberts.
I
What do you think in this game?
yeah. So Auburn made Arkansas look like world beaters. And I mean, frankly, even when they were playing against a no defense, Oklahoma State, they look like world beaters over there. I just don't know because again, this Texas A&M team is, as John said, not great. I don't really trust it right now, but I don't know if I really trust Arkansas either.
I will say
Uh,
this. I
That's
will
where
say
I
this, though.
am.
I
I'm
will
not
say
sure that
this,
I
though,
trust
John.
Arkansas.
I think Arkansas's offense is a tad bit better than A&M's, though,
Yeah, but I don't think
at
that their
key positions.
defense
No, I don't think
is.
the defense is better.
Yeah,
No.
and I mean, honestly, I think A&M wins. I think they win it by a touchdown, so I think they do cover. I don't like the Auburn game. I don't feel very comfortable or very confident in that. But I do think that they will. I think that they will ultimately win the game. But it will probably be an ugly game.
Yeah, it's,
Entertaining but ugly. So
Yeah, that's where I am. Y'all talking about not trusting, Texas A&M and stuff. I don't trust either team, to be honest.
correct. I don't trust either team.
I'm not there yet with this Arkansas team. I know they're 3-1, but I'm not there yet with them. I still think Auburn should have beat them last week. They struggled against UAB,
They
that I
did.
don't think is a great team.
Nope.
A&M struggled against Bowling Green. You are right, Hammond. Bowling Green did play Penn State tight, so maybe they're a lot better than I'm giving them credit for. Maybe. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick Kyle Field. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Aggies because of Kyle Field. And like John said, it just takes a touchdown.
Wait, hold on.
It's a Jerry's world.
I was about to say, is it in Jerry World?
It's a Jerry's world.
Yeah, that game is in Jerry World.
Oh, well, see, that makes it.
That's a yearly
When I do these
yearly
off
game,
of, it shows. It doesn't show neutral site games.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
a Jerry.
You guys
It's a
are right.
Jerry's
That
world.
changes
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
It changes a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that, guys. When I do it off of DraftKings, it just shows, it says home and away, and it don't show neutral site.
Right.
Oh, God. See, I thought I had it figured out. I'll take A&M anyway.
In that case, I'm probably going to pick Arkansas.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm picking.
Well, you did take Arkansas in the 5.5.
That's what I'm saying, but 5.5. But if I had to pick them straight up, that's who I would pick in this game because of the neutral side advantage, I think. So.
Well, I think I'm going to go with A&M in this game. And then before we move on to the next one, I am going to have Howie Fresh talk a little bit about his channel. Should be changing there at the bottom of the screen. And I'm going to have Howie talk a little bit about the Real Fresh channel.
You need new entertainment. You need full-length content. You need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm How Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling, we've got so much content on there. Gaming, check it out. Live, not live, we've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
Howie, my man.
All right, guys, that was Howie Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. He has now got a show that is featured on our Facebook page. Check it out right now. Currently, they are doing NFL game picks each week on Tuesday nights. So if you are an NFL fan, check out Howie Fresh at College SportsCast on Facebook, but also check him out on his YouTube channel, the Real Fresh channel on YouTube. And we appreciate Howie and being a part of all of this. All right. So that I kind of took a break there before we get to what I think is the big game of the week here. So the next game we're going to talk about, guys, is Georgia at Alabama. And I cannot remember the last time Alabama was a plus at home. I'm not sure. Like, it's been a long time. So Georgia is a -1 here. It's basically a pick'em game, but they are given a slight, ever so slight advantage to Georgia here in this game. I'm not exactly sure why. Georgia's beat them 2 of the last 3. I mean, Alabama has beat them 2 of the last 3. Of course, it was with Saban. So I don't know. Hammonds, this is another game I'm struggling with. Part of my brain says one thing and my gut says something else.
What side's your brain on?
It might be on his left side. I don't know. But I'm going to say this. If you haven't watched Alabama and Georgia in the past, this game always comes down to the trenches. O-line, D-line, it's always a back and forth game. Georgia's 42 winning streak, regular season winning streak, is in jeopardy this weekend. Can Kirby Smart have a game plan to defend Jalen Milroe? And on the other side, can Alabama slow down Carson Beck? And I'm going to go here, and I know I shouldn't do it because it's at home, or it's a away game.
Well,
but
we did Kentucky the first game, if you missed it.
I got Bama. And I say this because the lack of explosion and the lack of quarterback play that I see with Carson Beck at this point worries me a little bit, Brad. He hasn't been great. Jalen Milroe has. He's played better. You know, he played on the road at Wisconsin, which Wisconsin was a bad team, but he took care of business. And, you know, Beck had struggles at Kentucky. So give me Kalen DeBoer.
The Rutledge kids, you're right, Bill. He's going to be out.
Give me Kalen DeBoer, his first signature win at Alabama. Roll Tide roll. I think this is a game Alabama wins and they make a statement in the SEC. And for those wondering, this game means nothing in the grand scheme of things for their playoff spot. This is just a game to enjoy, watch, and have a good time with.
Since both are undefeated still, technically, yes, you're right. But both can still lose this game and make it.
I think this is more of a pride factor to me. But Alabama wins this game. I had Georgia picked before the show started, but after reading some of the stuff and picking up on notes and some of the stuff that I watched with Carson Beck, it worries me on the road against a really good Alabama team, especially with their offensive line, and they got some guys on the D line that's shaky, and I just don't trust Georgia on the road in this game, like I thought I would.
All right, John Roberts, you're in Bama. You're not a Bama fan, but you're in Bama. What's the buzz down there? I know you're got some the next round friends there at the next round, and they cover Bama a lot. So what's the buzz down there in this game?
I'm just gonna say you guys were calling it that these games tend to be won in the trenches, and I trust Alabama's offensive line more than I trust Georgia's offensive line. I think that Bama's defense is going to be able to wreak havoc with Carson Beck. I think that they're also going to be able to contain the running game, and I don't think that that Georgia has any receivers that scare me. So, with that being said, I think that also on the offensive line, I think
Well,
that on the offensive side for Bama, I think that Bama's offensive line, I think at this point in the season, I trust more than I trust Georgia's offensive line, and I think that they're going to be able to, ultimately be able to run the ball and do kind of not whatever they want, but they're going to have more control of the game, and I think that Bama wins this game, and I think that ultimately, I think at the end there could be a late score, but I think it could be double digits.
and to be honest, Brad, I know I said this game don't mean nothing in the grand scheme of things, but Georgia still has to go on the road to Texas, and Alabama, to me,
Well, I mean, Alabama's got tough ones too. So whoever loses,
well, they do.
Alabama's still got Tennessee.
Still got some tough games.
Just like Georgia's got Texas, Alabama's got Tennessee.
I just think they're undefeated.
I mean, whoever loses.
I agree with what Bill just said. He said,
I mean,
if you guys,
but
yeah.
Well, I clicked off of it just for a second, so.
Oh, it says, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but go back and watch
I'll put it up on the
Georgia.
screen.
Oh, okay. I was going to read it to you. So, but I agree with that.
Started scoring on Clemson.
I think Bama secondary is a lot better.
I mean, that's really the only time this year that Georgia actually. That's really the only time this year, the second half against Clemson, that Georgia actually looked like they had somewhat of a potent offense. That's the only time this year, really, so far. I mean, they certainly didn't against Kentucky. And, they
had a few. They had
you can't count a couple.
Well, the Tennessee Tech game, they finally blowed them out, but early on in the game, they struggled. I think, what was it, 17?
To me, we're talking about Georgia. You can't count those games.
No, I agree with you, but
all right, you can't really count those games. So the only time they really look like they've had a potent offense at all is the second half against Clemson. Now, having said all that, I picked Georgia. Okay, preseason, I picked Georgia. I've been on the Georgia bandwagon for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years now. I thought they were going to get there last year as well. To be quite honest with you, they did through the regular season. Lost it to this Bama team and Jalen Milroe in the SEC championship game. Now, Saban's gone, DeBoer's in, and they look offensively pretty darn good. And here's my worries. Georgia's down one of their better offensive linemen, and they're down about 5 defensive linemen. When they played Kentucky 2 weeks ago, they were down like 5 defensive linemen.
Well, and even in the Kentucky
quite
game,
a few backups.
Well, and even in the Kentucky game, a bunch of guys got injured in the Kentucky game.
Wait a second. Wait. So here's my deal. The line play, I think, is what's going to make a difference in this game. And then DeBoer's offense. And my brain says that Georgia should be able, that Saban's gone, that Kirby Smart and Georgia should be able to go in there and take advantage of that and win this game and come back as the leaders and the kings of the SEC conference. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, my gut says that Alabama's taking this game at home.
Go with your gut.
And
go with the gut.
For that reason, I'm going with Bama.
I'm going to say this.
I'm going with Bama. And I'm going against what I said.
since we're on this big game, I just want to say this. Could you imagine what a win like this for Alabama would be in Kalen DeBoer's first year when many thought he wouldn't do much at all? How big of a win that would be, signature win for him. That you had a lot of media people saying that Alabama was not going to be that great and they wasn't going to be Alabama.
Who
like
lost
Saban.
SEC teams will definitely be in the playoff game.
And you had a lot of people saying, well, Alabama's not going to be. Oh, no. But you had a lot of people saying, well, Alabama's not going to be Alabama. Saban's gone. Imagine a win tomorrow night in Tuscaloosa over a really good Georgia team in his first year. That changes everything with recruiting, fans.
Oh, I know.
It changes a lot. Yeah. So I thought I pushed that in there while we was talking about Alabama, Georgia.
Oh, I mean, it's an absolute huge win.
It is.
It'll be a huge win for either one. It'll be a huge win for Kirby Smart, too, if he can get it.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever wins this, it's going to be a huge win, to be honest.
Quick thing, though, Brad.
All right. So, next, I'm going to welcome –
Kirby is 1-5 against Alabama, by the way.
I said this was his chance to go in after Saban retires and prove that he is the leader of the SEC. That's what I said. That's what I think should happen, but I'm not doing that. I'm taking my gut. I have a gut feeling that says that Bama and DeBoer is going to
take your gut, Brad Harvey.
Much.
Take your gut, Brad Harvey.
I've already done it twice. So, all right, welcome Ohio State to College SportsCast this year, and that's because they have played nobody.
And they still haven't.
Nobody.
Brad just went.
When you're playing the sister of the blind,
Brad just went full violence on Ohio State. Okay. Brad just went full violence.
I mean, golly, somebody put a team on their schedule that's worth a damn. That's all I got to say.
Next week.
But anyways, I'm talking the first month of the year.
They'll play somebody next week.
Ohio State is a 23.5 favorite at Michigan State.
Oh, Dad said Bama wins.
Michigan
Brad.
State, new coach.
Dad's with you.
Ohio State and Michigan State, John.
But
get off of Georgia and Bama. Come on now.
To me, this seems like a big line for me. But, Michigan State, to me, is very thin in the secondary, which I think that's what Ohio State's going to go after. Buckeyes have one of the best pass rushes in college football. We're not talking Big Ten. We're talking the whole country. While I feel like the Spartans have played really good, the Buckeyes roll this game.
John, Bobby, sleep. Come and get me.
Woo! All right. Yes,
So
I agree.
What say you,
I believe
Buckeyes and Spartans?
Yeah, they're gonna go nuts. And
See, I think this Michigan State team is a little better than people give them credit for so far with a new coach. I like their new coach, Smith, Jonathan Smith from out west. I think he's a good coach, Oregon State coach that's come over. They've done pretty good so far. This is at Michigan State. I think 23.5 sounds kind of high, even though this Ohio State team is really, really, really talented.
yes,
And should cover this. But I have to give Michigan State a little bit of credit here. I think they are a much better and improved team, and this is their first time on the show this year. Jonathan Smith is going to get that program in a better direction. I'm not sure if you're going to say completely turned around, but in a much better direction. I just don't think it's this week against Ohio State, even though this is in Lansing. I got to take the Buckeyes here to cover that spread.
Yep. I agree.
This next one, though, John, we're staying in the Big Ten. This next one, we got Illinois at Penn State. Illinois has been one of the surprises of the season. 4-0, shocked Nebraska last week in Lincoln. Now they're playing in Happy Valley, and they're an 18-point underdog. Do you give the Illini a chance to at least cover this? It seems high.
Yes, I think
Coming
they're
off
going to
of a,
cover. I think they'll cover this one.
Overtime win in Lincoln.
Yeah, I think they'll cover this one. I just think that they'll be able to show up. I think that they will build off of last week, with going into Nebraska and pulling off the shocker of all shockers. And I think that I think this week they will go into Happy Valley, into Penn State. And look, do I expect them to win? No, but I think it'll be inside of 18. So that's where I'm going. So I'm taking the points, Illinois, and the points. So
that's where I want to lean when I look at that spread. The way Illinois has been playing, they play great defense. They're 4-0. They just won in Lincoln on a much improved Nebraska team. But man, I really like this Penn State team. Singleton, the running back, has done great. Alar has played much better. They do have a little bit better wideouts this time, I think.
And that's after they gave up one of them to Auburn.
Man, I struggle with this one. Yeah.
Yep.
Bill, I hear you, and that's kind of where I'm at, but I'm struggling with it. I think I'm going to do the opposite that everybody else is saying and take Penn State to cover this, even though my brain says, wait a second, maybe you shouldn't do that. But I think I'm going to take Penn State, I think, in this one to cover the 18. And that's tough to do. All right, I put this one in because this could be this is a very important game in the group of five. You got Washington State, who is 4-0, at Boise State, who is 2-1. I think they had a bye week last week. Boise State did. Boise State's at home, and they're a 6.5-point favorite over this Washington State team. So John Roberts, I'll let you go first if Damon's ready.
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go.
John Roberts, you can go first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Boise State is gonna take care of business at home. I know that Washington State's looked good early on. I think that Boise State, ultimately is gonna be able to win with the 6.5 points. So yeah, give me Boise State. I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna be. I think they're going to take control. So yeah.
I'm back.
Absolutely, Bill. The running back Ashton Genty is the real deal.
I'm sorry, guys. My dog.
Okay, Hammonds.
My dog got loose and went all the way to the road and almost got hit.
Yeah.
So I'm back. Oh,
okay.
Okay,
it's all right, man. Stuff happens.
Give me Boise State. Ashton Genty. I think he prevails in this game. Now, I will say that John Mateer is a really good quarterback for Washington State. He came back and played really well against San Jose State. But give me Boise State in the win. I think they cover the spread. Oh, Jared Murphy. You would make it rough on the old boy. Oh, goodness.
All right, so I picked Boise State as my group of 5 team to make it to the college football playoff. I know that Washington State has been playing well, really well, to be quite honest with you. They're 4-0, but I really, really like this Boise State team. I mean, man, Ashton Genty, like Bill said, I mean, he is the real deal. I think he's the best running back in college football, bar none. I don't think there's anybody else that's even close right now to him. And they have an offense that is explosive and puts up points on the board.
I'll say this to add to Brad's point. If Washington State, say, goes into Boise and wins,
oh, yeah,
we might be talking about a Washington State team that nobody even predicted to be in the 12-team playoff. Like,
absolutely.
That's how legit
I
this
think
win will be.
This game, that's the reason why I put this game on here. I think the winner of this game is in the driver's seat for that spot right now. Like, for sure. For the group of 5 spot, 100%. I'm going to take Boise State. John, I'm going to go back real quick for you and let you do the Illinois and just do this pick, and then we'll move on to the next one. But while you were gone, we did Illinois at Penn State.
I'll be honest with you.
Penn State is an 18-point favorite.
I think this line is too big to me. Illinois is just playing well. You know,
yeah,
they got 2 good receivers, a good quarterback, a solid offensive line. Now, do I think they can go into Penn State and upset them? Probably not. But this is a much improved Illinois team that's displayed, I think, a few weaknesses. Like Luke Altmaier suddenly is a real good quarterback. Like, many didn't think he would be a great quarterback coming into the year.
Looks like a good quarterback.
He does. But give me Illinois in the points.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to win this game, but to me, this is Penn State's toughest test yet at this point. We all thought West Virginia would give them a game. They never did. Well, now Bowling Green almost beat them, but to me, this is the biggest pulse test that they've had all year. So give me Illinois in the points. What is it, 17.5?
18.
Oh, it's 18 now? It was 17.5.
It was this afternoon.
But give me Illinois in the points. I just think that line's too big.
Yeah.
For what Illinois is playing like.
Okay. All right. This is our last game of the week. This is number 12. We try to do 12 games each week here on College SportsCast Game Day Pick'em. And this is number 12. We're going back to the Big 12 here. Arizona is going to Utah. Utah was a 9-point favorite this evening, late afternoon. And the Utes are at home in this game. Hammonds, Arizona at Utah. Who knows if Cam Rising's playing or not? Who knows? Probably not.
At this point, we never know, to be honest, whether he's going to play or not. But I'm going to say this: Arizona has not impressed me much this year. Can they be more than the McMillan and Fafita show? I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a great tandem, but they got to have a little bit more in the tank than those two. They was just absolutely no show against Kansas State. They struggled on 3rd down all game. They only turned it over, I think, once, but they're going up against a really good Utah defense. I think the Wildcats, to me, are undersized. I think they'll struggle against this good Utah front four. Give me Utah to cover the spread. Even if Rising can't play, I think Wilson will do enough to make this game a grinded out game, and I think their running game will be the difference here because Arizona's defense ain't that great either. So
that's how they won. That's how they won in Stillwater last week.
And I had a lot of faith in Arizona coming into the year, and they just have not impressed me whatsoever. They just not been the Arizona I thought they would be. But give me Arizona to cover. Bill.
All right, John.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Utah and their defense. I think Utah and their defense will do enough to keep Arizona at bay. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback for Utah. I think they'll score enough points to cover the 9 points.
Now, I will say Noah Fafita, he's a really good quarterback, but he hasn't faced the kind of defense that he's going to face Saturday night. Utah's defense is really good.
Nope. That's the reason why that's the reason why this Utah team, man, they've been really, really good. I mean, they don't get the credit that they deserve. They won 2 Pac-12 titles before last year and still didn't get the credit that they deserve. They've moved to the Big 12. They still don't get the credit that they deserve, I don't think, nationally. Now, they are ranked 10th this week, which is a step in the right direction. But, I just don't think they get the credit that they deserve. You're right. Fafita and McMillan is a great tandem for Arizona. But outside of that, they haven't looked like I thought they were going to look early this season so far. And because of that, I'm taking Utah and laying the 9 points here in this game. I think the Utes cover and win at home.
I'm going to say that I'll say this too.
Bill, that's a good pick to win the Big 12.
Arizona, to me, they're just not what they was supposed to be. I'll just put it that way because, I mean, you look at Kansas State. Kansas State, to me, is not that great of a team. Now, they're good for the Big 12, but, either that's the case or either BYU is better than what we thought they were. And BYU right now is sitting at 4-0. So,
well, I think BYU is definitely better.
They are.
I think BYU is definitely better than what we thought they were. Sure.
We'll find out this week. But there's some other good games on this weekend. So I have a few on my watch list. So,
matter of fact, you could BYU is a 3-point underdog at Baylor, and that's not part of this. But I think you could take those points, and the way BYU has been playing at Baylor.
I'll say this real quick. I'll say this while we're on it. I forgot to tell you this early before the show to kind of give it some recognition. How about the Army Cadets? Unbelievable season so far.
Yep.
And we could be talking about Army.
They hate the Owls.
We could be talking about an Army team.
John Roberts knows what I'm talking about.
I said this last night. We could be talking about an Army team that will go and play Notre Dame and might be playing for a spot as the group of 5 for a playoff spot. Now, how big of a game would that be? 4-0. Yeah, 4-0, Jerry.
Well,
just like the 49ers are 1-2.
Yes. Yeah.
Bang, bang.
49ers are dealing with some injuries.
Hey, I'm just giving him
All
a hard time. Oh, goodness.
John Roberts, our home field is up on the screen here at College Sportscast. This is one of our things that we love to be able to offer you guys. Premium license collegiate gear apparel here. It's vintage, retro. It's really cool. They have over 180 teams to choose from. If you are a first-time buyer, you can use our code CSCast for a 15% discount. You can also go to Greenville.com, GreenvilleSportsMedia.com, and you can use our link at the bottom, and that will help us as well. But you can get some really cool retro designs, mascots, throwback teams, all kinds of really, really cool stuff there at Home Apparel. And we want you to check that out. And then also scrolling at the bottom of the screen, follow us, follow College Sportscast here on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and then this is our X or Twitter handles there on the screen. You can follow us there as well.
You know who drink local
we are going to
beer,
wrap this up and call it a night. Next week we will do our Big Fuss show on Tuesday night, and then look next week. I'm not sure what night I'm going to play it, but next week me and John are going to do a Kentucky basketball schedule, Kentucky basketball special. Next week we're going to cover the men's and women's and just kind of do a preview show for the men's and women's Kentucky basketball.
Thanks,
so
Jerry.
Look for that next week. And I appreciate everyone on here tonight. We had quite a few on, and not just on, but chatting with us and responding and making one of you, all of you who was on with us tonight. We appreciate you being here. It makes the show fun to do.
I know Jared Murphy had said that my 40 time 4.9. I need to walk on at Auburn and be on their offensive line since they're struggling so bad.
Can you play left guard?
I can play now. Oh goodness.
Need a left guard and a left tackle right now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. This has been College Sportscast Game Day Pick'em. This has been week 5 of coming up tomorrow. Have a good night.